I never truly believed in ghosts. Growing up in the Midwest, most of the scary stories we heard were just things parents told their kids to keep them inside after dark. But what happened to me last winter? I still struggle to talk about it. It started on a Thursday night, cold enough that the air felt like glass when you breathed it in. I was getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth, zoning out, when I heard a knock at my front door. Not loud, not frantic, just one single knock. I remember standing still, toothbrush in my mouth, slowly realizing what I'd heard. Nobody knocks once. Nobody knocks at 12:14 a.m. I went to the door, looked through the peephole, and saw nothing. But when I cracked it open, I saw a man standing there. My neighbor, Tom, his face pale, drained of color, hair sticking to his forehead as if he'd been sweating or running. "Help me," he whispered, voice trembling. Something felt off instantly. His eyes were cloudy, unfocused. His breath formed no fog in the cold air. Then I saw the worst part, the porch light behind him. I could faintly see it shining through his shoulder. That's when every hair on my body rose at once. Tom had died the week before. A car accident. I attended the vigil. I slammed the door before I even processed what I'd done. Heart pounding so hard it felt like it shook my ribs. On the other side, I heard him whisper again, "Help me." Then, bang, one hit on the door. Then another. And another. Not fast, slow, heavy. Like he used every ounce of strength to lift his arm. I backed away, grabbing my phone with shaking hands. But I didn't call anyone. Who do you call for something like that? After about 10 minutes, the knocking stopped. I stood there in complete silence, listening, afraid to move. When I finally looked outside again through the peephole, he was gone. Or I thought he was gone. There was a single wet footprint on the concrete. I barely slept. The next day, I kept replaying it in my head, trying to tell myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Grief, hallucination, dream, stress, anything. That afternoon, I visited Mrs. Harper, the older lady across the street who'd lived here since the 70s. I casually asked her if she'd ever experienced weird things in the neighborhood. She didn't blink. She didn't laugh. She just said quietly, "Sometimes they come back confused." "Who?" I asked. "The ones who didn't know they were leaving." Her answer chilled me so deeply I had to sit down. She told me that years ago, long before I moved in, another neighbor died suddenly, heart attack right outside his home. For weeks after, people heard knocking on their windows late at night. Just one knock each time, as if he was trying each house looking for help. I felt sick, because the night Tom died, he had come to my house earlier to borrow sugar. My door was the last one he knocked on while still alive. I tried to move on. Days passed, but each night around the same time something happened inside my house. First, small sounds. Footsteps in the hallway when I was in bed. Cabinet doors opening in the kitchen. Light switches flicking off on their own. Sometimes I'd smell mud and cold air inside my living room, like somebody had just come in from the rain. Then things got worse. One night, while I was brushing my teeth again, the bathroom light flickered just once. Then my phone screen lit up on the counter. A notification. At first I thought it was spam or an alarm. But no, it was a voicemail. From Tom. He had left the message 3 days after he died. I froze. My thumb hovered over the play button. When I finally pressed it, I heard nothing for a few seconds. Then faintly, "Help, cold. Where am I?" And then something else. Something I wish I had never heard. A dragging sound. Wet, heavy, like a body being pulled over gravel. The voicemail ended abruptly. I felt the room tilt. My knees buckled. I sat on the cold floor, trembling uncontrollably. The next night was the worst of all. I woke up at 3:17 a.m. to the sound of knocking. Not at the door this time, but inside my house. somewhere near the hallway. 3 slow knocks. I held my breath. Then I heard it. Please, help me. It wasn't coming from the hallway. It was coming from the basement door, a place I almost never used. I stayed frozen in bed for at least 5 minutes before forcing myself to get up. I grabbed the nearest thing I could use as a weapon, a metal flashlight, and slowly walked toward the basement. The knocking stopped, but something else started. From behind the door I heard breathing. Raspy, wet, uneven breathing, like lungs filling with mud. I put my ear close, barely whispering, "Tom?" The breathing stopped instantly, as if whoever was behind the door pressed their ear against the wood too. Silence. Then right next to my ear, through the door, "I didn't want to die." I stumbled backward so fast I hit the wall. My hands were shaking too hard to hold the flashlight. When it dropped, its beam landed right on the bottom of the basement door. I saw water, cold, dark water, slowly seeping out from underneath. I didn't stay. I ran outside barefoot into the freezing night air. I didn't return until sunrise, when I finally forced myself inside to check. The basement was bone dry. No water, no footprints, nothing. But on the inside of the basement door, carved deep into the wood, were 5 words. "You didn't open the door." My legs went numb, because the night he died, Tom had knocked on multiple houses looking for help after crawling out of the wreck. And when he reached mine, I didn't answer. I thought it was too late. I thought the noise outside wasn't important. But he remembered, and he came back. I moved out 2 weeks later. People still tell me the guy who bought my house complains about knocking sounds at night. But he always assumes it's the pipes or raccoons or the wind. I haven't had the courage to tell him. Some knocks are not from this world. Some knocks come from someone who died scared, confused, and still looking for the last person they ever reached out to. If you've ever experienced something unexplainable, share your story in the comments. Someone else might be living through the same nightmare.